When the German invasion started on the 4th of August 1914 for Belgium, then immediately the civilian population felt threatened, and there was good reason for that, because there were a number of incidents which showed that there was also part of the action was terror on civilian population. And the rumors spread very fast, and so tens of thousands of people took refuge, went westwards and northwards within Belgium. And when the Belgian army retreated into Antwerp, hundred thousands of refugees had already packed together in Antwerp. And at the siege of Antwerp, early October 1914, hundreds of thousands left the city and went north to Holland, to the Netherlands. And in 10 days' time, up to 1 million Belgian civilians were refugees in Holland. So the four groups are refugees to Holland at the beginning of the war, with a highlight in October 1914. Second group, also fairly at the beginning, people going to the United Kingdom, so going as far west as they could in Belgium and then crossing the sea, 250,000 people, and then over 300,000 people who fled into France, not all at once, but little by little, and as the war continued, joined very much by the fourth group, who were refugees within their own country and who tried to stay in Belgium, but the space of non-occupied Belgium was so small that indeed they had to more and more go into France and there join the larger group who was already present there. When you see that up to a quarter of the Belgian population, of the then Belgian population, was a refugee at one time or other during the First World War, and that even today there are people alive that were born in exile or were even refugees as babies. I've met a few a couple of weeks ago when I interviewed them. And then it's often surprising to see how little empathy and how little solidarity there is with the waves of refugees who are coming to Europe today. They are looked upon as a threat to our own welfare state, much more than as people who are in need and underrun for danger and misfortune. This is a story that remained for a very long time untold, because people try to forget the days of hardship, and unlike when you are a veteran of the war and you have survived, where you have like a general appreciation for what you have done, for having served in the army, for having served your country, the status of the refugee is much less clear, and so therefore people tended to keep the stories of being a refugee much more indoors than the commemoration of the military casualties. We tend to forget the bad pages from our own past, and that is understandable, because that is out of a need of survival and looking at the good things in life. But on the other hand, I think it is necessary to remember where we came from ourselves, what happened to our own population a mere 100 years ago. So for a lot of people it's not real history, it is something within the living memory, and so I think that today's attitude could benefit from that sense of empathy and solidarity.